Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, Director of Curatorial and Educational Affairs for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. Libby, Jack, Pim, and I have a presentation today on using social media as a community building and educational resource. In the last year, as our institutions were closed and in-person visitation plummeted, we've all had to find different ways to reach our communities. We can boil all of our mission statements down to preserving our artifacts and educating the public. And every one of us has had to struggle with how to do that without visitors coming to our museums. Today, Battleship New Jersey, Naval Institute Press, and Museum Ships have partnered to introduce you to the most successful people at solving these issues in the naval history field. It is my pleasure to introduce the three best maritime preservation advocates and influencers of 2020.
Hi, I'm Jack Russell, Sales and Marketing Manager for the Naval Institute Press. I'm also the Managing Director for the World of Warships and Wargaming.net partnership with the United States Naval Institute.
Hi, my name is Pim van Wijngaarden. I am the IT Systems Manager at the Royal Netherlands Embassy. And also I run the museumships.us website. And with the help of three co-admins, also the Museum Ships Facebook page and group with now 14,000 members and growing.
My name is Libby Jones. I'm the Education Manager at Battleship New Jersey. And a big part of what I do is run our YouTube channel. It's something that we started in 2019, but we really took off with it during the pandemic. In 2019, we had about 20,000 views on our channel. So far in 2021, we've reached about 40 million people. Our YouTube channel is a combination of effort between Ryan and I. So Ryan is the face of our channel, and I do all the back end. So I am our friendly neighborhood camera person, as well as doing all of the editing. For me, a big part of it, though, is answering all of the comments we get every day, building that community.
So Jack, how did you and Naval Institute Press pick the platform you chose, and what platforms do you guys find success with?
That's a good question, Ryan. So at Naval Institute Press, we use a combination of Twitter and Facebook. We've also started partnering with naval history-related YouTube channels. Obviously, yours included. That's why we're here today. Also, for instance, Naval and his 5-minute guides. But we also have our unique partnership with Wargaming and World of Warships. One of the platforms that we use is their game portal and their website, and we post articles, naval history related, books and products relation, as well as photo essays, where we pull out historic content based on what they're doing in the game, and then we show that to their audience.
So Naval Institute Press has a collection of articles, content creators, and photographs that you can share with other maritime museums and partner with them to do social media, correct?
Correct, yeah. So, how I look at it, we're definitely trying to expand our reach in this community. We have all this content, and we want to do our very best to help other content creators and museums succeed in their own work. And only as working sort of together in this can we really make that happen.
Pim, how did Museum Ships end up on the social media platforms that you ended up on?
When I started my website, I needed an audience to come to my website to actually, watch the stuff that I post there and that I put on there. So as I already used Facebook, I thought, okay, that would be the obvious choice. So I started a page in 2014. And then later on in 2019, I started a group so the members can actually have more interaction and post their stuff, pictures, experiences. Originally I wanted to do a forum because old school, I wanted to do a PHP BB forum. So I have control and not Facebook.
Have you found more success with a page versus a group? Is there a reason why you transitioned from one to another? The page is kind of just me doing my thing, and then people can reply. I also set up the group and then never used it for a while. Then we got hacked in the end of 2018. Somebody somehow got access to my admin rights, demoted me, and got himself the top job. Dumped all kinds of crazy videos on there. So that's when I thought, while I was trying with Facebook to get that resolved, I started using my group, which I think is way more interactive. People love it. It has 14,000 members now.
It's great.
So that's a much better community page because members of your community are creating their own content.
Exactly. Yeah, they share their experiences. Like if they visited Jersey, they can post their pictures. People, reply. They do a whole series of trips that they made, and they post their progress through the country. Internationally, it is great. I mean, I think that the page, even though it has 61,000 followers, it's kind of static and dead as far as I'm concerned. Because what I do in the group is what I copy to the page, but is that really necessary anymore? I mean, I might even cancel that whole page because I think to make the group grow.
And tell me a little bit about museum ships. So you exclusively run this page to support museum ships, not to make any money yourself.
Exactly. That was the idea. I mean, make people aware of where museum ships are, in what state, what type of ship. And especially for me, it is to pay attention to the volunteers, the veterans that are often volunteers, and create awareness.
And I believe every ship that's a member of CAM is represented on PIM's website. So visitors who are planning their vacations can go on there and find where it is they're trying to go, or what maritime museums are in the areas they're going on vacation. All right, Libby, same question. How did Battleship New Jersey move more to social media during the pandemic, and what platform did we use?
So we mostly use YouTube, and we like YouTube because it allows us to do really heavy content without doing a lot of prep work. We can walk around the ship and talk about whatever thing it is that we run into. And we started out with 3-minute videos filmed on a cell phone with a $0 budget, and we still film on a cell phone, and we reached 40 million people already in 2021. So it's with our $0 budget and zero time, we still managed to find time.
And this is particularly important for us because we're it for content creators for the museum. We don't have people writing stuff behind the scenes or doing anything. So many museums went to like online classes and that sort of thing. Battleship New Jersey attempted that, correct?
Yeah, we tried to do classes, and then we realized that unlike, say, a farm museum, we have a battleship to fight against. We have armor, and we found that doing anything live didn't respond well with people. They couldn't get the connection that they wanted, and the glitches made it less clear. So we went with all pre-recorded things, like we're doing right now, that allowed people to be able to see the ship more.
And in 2020, the market was pretty saturated with online classes, wasn't it?
It was. Pretty much everybody was doing it. But we're lucky that I think this is something we're going to continue doing despite the pandemic. It's something we started before the pandemic, so it's something that we built on that we already did. And that's something I always recommend to people is don't reinvent the wheel. Just do what you do more.
And I think it's worth saying at this point that PIM and Jack, Naval Institute Press and Museum Ships, are also going to continue doing all the stuff they've been doing throughout the pandemic as things hopefully return to normal soon. So Jack, what is it that you and Naval Institute Press are selling? What is it you're trying to do with your social media platform?
So here at the Naval Institute Press, our main focus, of course, is our books, right? So we have trade and text titles. We sell textbooks to the Navy, but we also have a lot of trade books that we sell to history enthusiasts and people who are interested in the subject matter. We have one of our most famous titles, and I wouldn't be an employee of NIP if I didn't say this, but of course we were first to publish Humphrey Red October, Tom Clancy. But along with the press, we also have Proceedings Magazine and Naval History Magazine. And then we also have imprint and digital online subscriptions to our magazine and our content. So then that will allow you access to the photo archives that we talked about previously. And so, yeah, we have these combination of products that we're trying to sell to the naval history enthusiast. One such product that's coming out this fall is a Naval History Special Edition. And just like another special edition magazine that you would see on a newsstand at a grocery store or Barnes & Noble, so it's a really high quality, sort of thick stock paper, 120-ish page magazine, and they're going to focus on museum ships. And so the first one, which comes out in roughly June, July, will be on Massachusetts. written by NIP author Vince O'Hara. Most of the material is taken from his book on Torch, and we're combining that with a lot of historic photos, as well as photos and context provided by the actual museum. And so the idea for these special editions is that, we look at this ship, we look at the history, the building, the service career, and then really, what's its life now? Is life as a museum ship. We also are including content from wargaming and World of Warships, and that's another part of this museum ship, right? Not only is it still a museum, but it's playable, for gamers, which is and there's huge interest there, and so that is a product that we are really looking forward to. It allows us to support the community and really just get ourselves out there.
And World of Warships does a lot to support maritime museums. We've worked with them here at Battleship New Jersey before.
Right.
So it's interesting that they're also partnering with content creators like you guys. You don't have your own ship, but you produce information.
As one of the leading publishers for naval history content, we saw them as a method of getting, or reaching this new audience, and they saw us really to validate their product. Right, so the two of us working together, it's really just helping to introduce, this new generation to this content, and it's working out fabulously.
If people get hooked on maritime history by playing video games, and then they partner with groups like us and you to teach them more about the ships that they're playing with. I love that idea.
Exactly.
So Libby, what is Battleship New Jersey trying to accomplish or sell with our YouTube channel?
So we're mostly trying to sell the sort of content itself. We are trying to just teach people about the various parts of the ship.
That's our job. I'm the director of education. She's the education manager. If we can't do that with the ship closed, we get laid off and go home. We're not fulfilling our mission if we aren't educating people. So Pim, how does museum ships partner with other cultural institutions, museums, and whatnot on your social media? And
for example, here on the Jersey with Clark Perks, I communicated about he was looking for a couple of 20 millimeter guns, and I posted that in our group, and somebody from the Chicago area said, "Hey, we got a couple of them laying in this scrap heap." So somehow he got them over here. Also was involved with a rocket system that is now on the Jersey here.
Yep.
So in that way, I guess we cooperate. Also with sharing you guys video, YouTube content. People visit ships and post their pictures and talk about their visit to these various ships worldwide in our group and on our page. And then one of our admins, Blair Shaw, he writes articles for Navy General Board, and then links to pages on my website and share information that way and cooperate. So
people who are interested in ships aren't necessarily going to go out and like every museum ship's Facebook page. There's hundreds of them. But they will like the museum ship's Facebook page, and so when you share our stuff, then people who like what we do but don't necessarily follow us get to see what we're doing. We reach a much broader audience through you than we do on our own.
yeah, and that's awesome. I mean, I love that I can help in that regard. We do have to be pretty strict, though, as far as policing the content, because in the group, especially because it has 14,000 members that can literally talk about anything. We want to avoid topics like Taney, Pueblo, because it becomes a crapshoot, basically.
That's a great segue. Tell me some about the pitfalls that you run into on social media. You got people talking about topics in which there are very strong feelings on both sides that have to be policed.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to avoid politics, religion, because it doesn't belong there. It's about museum ships. So if people post pictures and about other ships that are on the bottom of the ocean, it doesn't belong on our page. So, and they're kind of annoyed when we remove that. Well, come on, read our About section, know what it is about, and post that stuff that relates to museum ships. So we have set up alerts with certain words that people use because Facebook doesn't like the use of certain words. So if I can get them, or if Blair or Jonathan or Winfred can get them off the group or off the page, before people read it, then it's better because Facebook doesn't shut us down.
So part of the key is you have a couple of moderators so that you can get on these things as soon as they happen.
Yeah. Like for example, we also recently set a limit. If we get more than 20 replies in a certain time limit, then we get alerted, because usually it is about political issues that people start screaming at each other and using words that don't belong on social media.
And that's a normal feature that anybody can do on their Facebook group.
Yes.
You just have to go through the
Settings,
panel stuff.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And also words, certain words you can set up.
How did you meet your the other admins on the site? Are they friends of yours in real life, or did you meet them through museumships?
Well, one of them, Winfred, is a coworker.
Okay.
So he was also a former Dutch Navy like I am. So he helped me out creating content for the website in the beginning, also making the blog post that I daily create about when ships get launched, when they get commissioned, decommissioned. Because I post on every day that they have a historical event like that, to again bring that ship to the forefront and say, hey, it's not only the Jersey, there's also a little tug on the other side of the river. So they helped me with that. Then I met Jonathan, who is a college kid, and he's really interested, knows his stuff, and we talked, messaged and asked him to become a moderator as well. And then Blair Shaw, who lives in northern Canada, so he's like that cold stuff where I don't want to be. So he's really active on the site and in the group by policing what is being said, removing content where needed. So yeah, and the hardest part is vetting all the new members, because like for example this week we got 175 new members so far, but that's probably out of 500 that applied. And the rest is all spam.
That was going to be my next question. You already said that somebody got on there and was able to hack you. And do you find a lot of spam bots and other people like applying on that?
Yeah, I mean, you can usually tell because there's people with 2-week-old Facebook accounts that apply, and we vet every.
So you and the moderators have to check every single profile.
Right. Normally, if they say they became a member 2 weeks ago, I can decline, boom, because that's a given. Or they have no other groups that they're interested in. You go through their profile and you don't see a picture of ships, or there's no content whatsoever on their personal page. We just decline them because if you let them in, then you have to delete them 2 days later because they post some crap on the site.
I know some websites you have to answer a series of questions before you're accepted. Does museumships have that as well?
We do have 2 questions now. So when you get an answer we avoid political comments,
right.
So please refrain from doing so. The answer of yes, admin, love group. Okay, well, you're out of here because it's a yes or no question. Some people don't answer the questions, and we still vet those by going to their profile. And if this is a guy from Alaska who has a normal job and a normal timeline on his own personal page, we let him in because you cannot force people to answer the questions.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think that's a weird thing that they should look into. But yeah, so we do.
So Libby, does Battleship New Jersey cooperate with other cultural institutions and museum ships?
So we have a really fun thing where we'll go out and visit other museum ships and compare them to us, or virtually they'll compare, say, their engine room to our engine room. I really like it because then they post our videos on their Facebook page and we get to post about them. So people who don't necessarily know about, say, the museum ship Slater, and she's a couple 100 miles from us, our followers find out about them and they find out about us. So it gives us a chance to sort of mix our communities. One of the things we were worried about when we started all of this is, well, if they can watch our YouTube video, are they going to come visit us? And do we want to talk about, say, the Olympia is directly across the river from us? Do we want to talk about Olympia? Because then they're going to go visit Olympia. but I have never found them anybody to be competition with us. They are someone, we are feeding into the same places and working as a team to get people to come visit us. If they're going to visit Olympia, they're going to come visit us.
Exactly. If you visit one maritime museum, odds are you're interested and you're going to visit more than one. And we found that people who watch our content then become interested in other parts of the ship that maybe they were just here last week, but they didn't get to see an engine room. So then they see it on a video and they want to come back and see it for themselves.
And that's one of the great things. We started this to educate people, but it helps bring people in the door. It sells tickets. It helped us fundraise. We've raised like $100,000 at this point. It has gotten our name out there across the world. I got a message from somebody in India this morning that's interested in knowing more about some particular facet, people that never would have found us. We worked with Canadian Sea Scouts last year to do a school program because they watched our YouTube videos.
Yeah, we're all part of the tourism industry, so we're all about attracting people in from outside the state, and they got to know about us to come out and see us. And that's what all of these organizations do. We help each other tell about other ships out there, and Naval Institute Press, Museum Ships, of course, talks about where all of these ships are. So it benefits the whole community.